Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good afternoon. 12:10, 10 minutes into the afternoon. Turn the AC down a little bit. Finally got a little bit cool in here. Coming to you from inside the Super Crusher, my new daily driver for a while. Here's to you, getting all hopped up on Diet Dew. Few pleasures I still have left in my life. Folks, I'm crushing it. I was looking in the mirror. My face is looking thinner. My tummy's looking smaller. I woke up. I'm a 178 man. Sorry. Not to get too ambitious. I'm a 198 man. I am sub 200. I think I was sub 200 yesterday. Those sprints, which is what I'm getting ready to go do now, in the boiling heat, ask me if I care. Not going to do it. I've got the phone in the iAudio. I took it out of the CC Rider. That's my Honda Accord. I am going to go buy another one of these. I'm going to leave this one in here. I took it out of the car. I put it in the truck. I plan on driving the truck a little bit more. Been watching some YouTube videos, thinking about some Toyo open country CV AT3s or something like that. I don't know. And then they've got a Trail RT. But Toyo has got a pretty good tire. Do I need them? Hell no. Will I buy them? Probably not. But I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at these trucks, and I'm watching YouTube videos, and I'm thinking, I wrote it yesterday. I'm going to go over to the car wash right now. Let's go and talk at the same time. I put a bunch of water, since it's 100 degrees, in the Dometic fridge. This thing is a house. I got a Dometic fridge right here, plugged into the 12 volt, that is set for 34 degrees. It'll actually go down to 8 below zero. I could freeze food in there if I want. If I stop at the store, if I'm driving around the Super Crusher here, I pick up some groceries, I don't have to say, I gotta go straight home because I gotta get that hamburger meat or whatever it is, refrigerated items in the refrigerator. No, I ain't got to do nothing I don't want to do because I'm driving the Super Crusher, who's got a refrigerator, air conditioned, tinted windows. I can sleep in here. This thing is huge. Thinking about a lot of stuff. Thinking about traveling in the truck and no camper. If I get a camper, it isn't going to be dragging that albatross I live in. I do not mean anything negative towards my girl. That is my sweetheart. That Flagstaff FK 25BS is the absolute Mac Daddy camper for really any situation. I mean, I got the truck to pull it. If I want to drag that and have, Fort Apache, Paradise, the Palisades right on my back, I can. But I'm a little tougher than that. So I was looking on Facebook Market, and you remember the Bushwhacker, the Cramper? There's a couple for sale on there, and not too far from me. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about toppers, sleeping in the back of the truck. I watched some YouTube videos of a guy that put a 5,000 BTU air conditioning, window air conditioner, in a wood wall, like a false tailgate. You drop the tailgate, you take this out of the back of the truck, and it sits there in the place of the tailgate with a hole in it that you pull this window unit through, and you can run it on shore power at campsites or your damn generator like I got. And you can freeze yourself right out of there. And I watched a bunch of these videos, and there's a lot of YouTubers doing it. There's a guy that started it, and he is beloved by hundreds of thousands of subscribers and gets tens of thousands of views in a minute from each video. And his shtick is he lives in Nebraska. You guys might know who I'm talking about. What is his name? Channel name? Just the coolest guy in the world. Lives in Nebraska. His story is, I watched him over 5 years ago. He lost his job. He had an injury, his leg or something like that. They fired him or couldn't pay him, or he quit or something like that. Started doing YouTube, going with a topper to campgrounds for one night, maybe two, camp out, get in the back of his truck, and here's what his shtick was. He'd get there, he'd make a fire. He had this little tub of wood. He'd put a few sticks in a fire ring, make a fire. Then he had one of those jet boils that he would boil. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. He'd buy like microwave damn burritos or some box food that you can heat up on a jet boil, a one burner thing, or he would grill something, a very, hot dog or something over the fireplace, and then he'd talk, and he'd always bring one new specialty, like beer. He'd buy one, he'd probably drink a few, but I mean, he would always, I'm trying this beer out, and he'd pop a beer and he'd talk to you. And then he'd go in his camper, right? It'd be freezing in the winter in Nebraska. He'd be the only guy at the campground. Then he'd get in the back of his truck, and he had a laptop, and he would talk about a movie he's going to watch. He'd say, all right, I'm going to watch this movie, and he'd put it on. And the next scene would be the movie's over, and he comes back, and he says, yeah, it was a good movie. I liked the movie. The movie was about this. And then he would talk a little bit more, and always breaking out some food of wrap, gas station food or something. I mean, not to pick on him. I mean, that's just what he had. It was never anything gourmet. I think he had a few videos. I haven't watched him in a while. He might have gotten more upscale. And then he would say, all right, I'm going to bed. See you later. And he'd have these LED lights in there, and he'd have a couple of cameras set up. And next thing you know, he's waking up, and then out comes the jet boil, and he would make a cup of coffee, and then he would have his camera set on the ground, and he would say, all right, thanks for watching, and he'd leave the campsite, and you'd see the truck leaving. Of course, he'd come back and get his camera, and that'd be the video. So basically, long story short, he shows up, makes a fire, cooks some box food, talks a minute, watches a movie, goes to bed, wakes up, makes a cup of coffee, and leaves. And gets 50 to 300,000 views of video. I mean, so in 2017, when I started up my channel, I had a 4Runner. I said, hell, I can do that. I wanted to build my YouTube channel. I said, I can do that. I got a 4Runner. I'll sleep in the back of it. And I never did. I went to Moab, and I slept in the back of it and made some videos and ended up doing what I do. So, what's his name? I almost said it. I almost thought of it. So anyway, the guy has all these subscribers. And then, like we always talk about on the channel, nobody's promised tomorrow. Out of nowhere, it's been about 3 or 4 years now, a couple of years anyway, the young man has a heart attack. And he came close. Pretty bad heart attack. And so he couldn't go camping, obviously, because he, see, my phone's already getting dark in the heat. He had to be close to the doctors in case something happened, for a while. And the outpouring of love was unbelievable. Everybody was sending him things, writing letters to him, sending him gifts, encouraging him. We're going to stay with you. Don't you worry. Da 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 da. And I've been busy doing my own channel, so I hadn't checked into him for a while. And I got to talking about him the other day because we're thinking about truck camping. I'm like, let me see what this guy's doing. He's back to doing what he was doing. Crushing it. Camping out. I think he's got him a van. The other night, I think he went out and he set him up a tent that he bought on Ozark Trail at Walmart. Camped out in a storm. And he's just a one-man, one night, maybe two, it's usually one night, solo camping, make a little fire. Of course, right now it's burning up hot where he lives. And he, I don't know why he used the tent instead of sleeping in the back. He's got a van now instead of his pickup truck. I don't know if he's still got the truck or what he's done, but he's morphed a little bit, but the same, shtick. And I'm telling you, people love it. I love it. That's why I want to do it. That's why I'm thinking about it. There was another guy, young guy, blonde hair, good looking guy. He had a Ford truck and he had a serious drawers that he could pull out the back. And he had a build out in it too with a bed. And he was big on cooking. He would go to the store and he wore a camera or a GoPro around his neck. He'd pick up the food. He had all these seasonings. I think he quit YouTube. He made millions. He bought a house and I think he just stopped. He traveled all over the United States. He's meeting the coolest people, chicks, and everything. This guy was super cool. I don't know if he's still doing it. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. He had millions of viewers. Bought him a house, man. Made so much money on YouTube. But he was fun to watch. Literally went to the coolest places in the United States in this truck like this. And all of these channels that I've watched in the past have stuck with me. And I see a lot of channels now that are doing exactly or trying to mimic what, God, I keep wanting to say the guy's name. Swabi, Quabi, something like that. The guy that started it all. Actually, it might have been the blonde-haired guy, young guy, younger than Swabi or Swami or whatever his name is. Quabi. What's his name? I know that thousands of you already know who I'm talking about. Cool guy, lives in Nebraska. Anyway, got over the heart attack. He's doing good. Actually looks like he's a little better than healthy since the last time I watched him. Looks like he's got a little bit more weight on him than he had. And so anyway, these are ideas that they're not just money makers and a way to grow a YouTube channel. It's for guys like them and me that absolutely enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I mean, you got to enjoy it or you wouldn't do that kind of thing on your channel. But the deal is, for those two guys, you could just tell, whether they made money or not, as long as they got enough money to get gas and buy the food and afford the campground. A lot of these guys were totally, staying in places that there were no charge. People would say, stay in my yard, stay in my driveway, or they would stay out in the desert or wherever they would stay, stealthy on the sides of the roads, in neighborhoods and campgrounds. But it was always good scenery and always some cooking going on and talking. And it just, I don't know, people like to live vicariously through these kinds of videos. And I do too. And I'm telling you, man, this is getting to be boring, what I'm doing. I'm not bored with RV living. I'm not bored where I live. But I want to go out. And I need to stop with the excuses of the heat. Hell, today, did you see up north of Georgia? 70s, Ohio, all these places. The heat dome is gone. Now, I don't know if it's coming back. It's August, probably will. But it's kind of concentrating on the southern part of the country like it's supposed to in the dog days every year. Southern Texas, Florida, that kind of thing. But anyway, the wheels are turning. So I moved off the topper. Then I started thinking about just reclining this seat. And then I looked at bushwhackers on Facebook and Craigslist, and I just Googled them. And there's a few out there. There's one exactly like I had. And then for whatever reason, I said no. I mean, I could park it in front of my camper. I could pay the storage and park it. I could do something because it's very small. But I said, you know what? I don't need to spend that. The money, and I can't believe how much they're going for. Mini micro campers, folks, are $9,000 to $20,000. And these ones that are cheaper than that are like these made of wood, homemade job. They took a paintbrush and painted. The ones made at factory like Braxton Creek and other brands that are micro campers, these things are bringing bucks, big bucks. You get into those tabs, TAB, and little guys, and the Bushwhacker Plus that you can stand in and all that. They want, 9 to 15, 18 grand for those things, 20 grand. Used. Anywho, it seems like the simplest thing is like Quaddy. Something Quaddy is his name. I can't remember the guy with the white Ford truck. They just had the topper. So I'm kind of back to that. And I would never spend 3 to 5 grand for a Lear or an ARE and then regret it later and can't get anything back for it. If I really like a topper, if I can find one for a few $100 that actually will fit a 6 3/4 foot bed on a Super Duty, there's a possibility I'll do that. Put some kind of Mickey Mouse, a single wide bed back there, my Dometic, and maybe just haul ass. Get a propane grill, portable one. I can carry a lot of stuff. I can carry a lot of stuff in this truck, this big 4-door crew cab. I can pack it up. So either the mini camper that I can just crawl in. I don't want anything to pop up or expand out the back like a soft camper, like Coleman pop-ups. When I pull into Love's, I just want to dive in like I did the Cramper. But I'm not going to pay that kind of money for one now. Hell no. And I was looking at tires. They want $2,500 to mount and balance, $2,000 anyway, for these Toyo all-terrain AT3s. Open country. Supposed to be the baddest, best rated American-made tire you can get. I'd be looking at a 285 70 18 or a 20 or a 275 70 18, which is what I got on here. I was watching one guy. He says, I always like skinny tires, all terrain but skinny. Instead of those wide ones. And there's something to that. They're not skinny, but most of these tires you see these guys put on, there's these big things that protrude out the side. They look wide. I know apparently most people like that because that's what you see. But there's something about what that guy said. He had them on a Tacoma and he had them on a couple of other trucks. You get these all-terrain, tall, tires, but skinny. All right, I'm bouncing all over the place because of this. I drank a pot of coffee. I didn't want to get out of the house. I didn't want to turn on the TV. I went back to bed after having a pot of coffee. I laid down, and now I got energy. And I just want to run it through the car wash and get my Supreme wash, tires all dressed up, head over to Nathan Benderson, do some sprints, maybe head to the gym, maybe head over to the beach. I got a chair in the back. I want to run the generator and burn some gas in it. I want to do everything. And I want my wheels to be turning, thinking about, this is August. At the end of this month is September. No more excuses. Weather will change. Days will get shorter. Temperatures will drop a degree or two. We won't be dealing with 100 degrees maybe. So we got to start thinking. And we got to start rolling these wheels. And the more I think about rolling without that camper behind me, the better I like it. I mean, I can do tent, I can do topper, I can do mini camper. I can leave the tonneau cover on, put a tent, camping equipment and all that back there, have something that sets up real quick, instant tent. In a pinch, I can recline this passenger seat over here. It's a big, giant, maybe I could lay, I don't know. I'll be able to put everything in the back. I can get all this out of here. Sleep back there in a fetal position. But I believe I could be pretty comfortable reclining this seat over here. Wonder how far it goes back. Anyway, let's run through the car wash. I'll get this one up. And I do have some other things I wanted to talk about. Got a couple of ideas today for some videos. But man, am I getting antsy. I am ready. Crush it.